Hey, this is Kevin Fields from Frankie's Comics, hanging out with the Nerd Herd. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can follow for all the updates and check out the latest videos.
Let's put our focus on our special guest today, Kevin. Hey, and Kevin, my first question I want to ask you, man, like, how did you get into collecting? Like, we all have our stories. We want to know what you're collecting because you're a pretty big person in the comic book industry right now. I saw you on the top. I saw you as one of the top 3 on the Simple Man's top 3 top down show. I was like, wow, we got Kevin on the show. So, how'd you get into it?
Well, when I was a kid, I don't know, 9, 10, my mom, wanted to encourage me to read, so she took me to a comic book store, and I got some comics for the first time there. It was Boris the Bear, Concrete. I can't remember if there's anything else. Those are the ones that stood out.
Concrete.
So I really liked that one. So, yeah, I mean, that's how. And then we went a couple times, but not very often, I would say. And I had a good impression from the comics, but I didn't collect any comics after that until like 2014. So I went a long time without stepping foot into a comic book store. And I think what got me to go into the comic book store was Marvel had announced those hip-hop covers.
Oh, yeah.
If I got the years right. And so I went into the local comic book store here asking if they had it. And the guy was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
Because they hadn't come out yet. I think it was just like a press release. So that got me into collecting. And while I was there, I started looking around, and I saw Captain America was Falcon at the time. That was when Marvel kind of replaced a lot of the traditional superheroes with younger minority characters. It was a little controversial, but so there was like I remember there's an Alex Ross cover, I believe, for Captain America #1 with Falcon on it with the shield, and the sun was shining down.
I remember that.
I don't know if you guys remember that cover.
Oh, yeah.
But that was the one that really caught my eye. I was like, oh wow, somebody that looks kind of like me, the same skin color. He's obviously in better shape. Is Captain America. So that really drew my attention to the comics, and so I started buying a lot. And then I was like, what are these graded books on the wall? And I started looking at that, and then I started joining some of the Google Plus groups for speculation. I was like, wow, you can actually make money off of comics. So then I was trying to buy comics to resell, and my wife, suggested that we start a business, so we actually have like tax write-off and everything, so it's official. So that's kind of how we got started. So it's been challenging, and it's been fun at the same time. There's a lot about comics that I don't know because there was such a huge gap between when I was a child and an adult. So there's a lot of stuff I read. So, for example, I tried to read, was it Secret Wars 2? Does that sound right?
The Beyonder?
Which one?
Did that happen? Yeah, like, did that happen? Yeah, I mean, and so, was it Secret Wars, or I think where they like collapsed the multiverse or whatever?
Okay, yeah, that's
the
new Secret Wars, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Secret Wars.
Yeah,
there's like 4 Secret Wars.
The new Secret Wars. So, like in 2015, 14.
Yeah.
And I was trying to understand. I was like, "What the hell is all this?" they gave me this map, and I was like, "It just got ridiculous." So I actually gave up on the series, and I was like, "It's really hard to follow what was going on." And then they relaunched everything. Marvel did again, and so then it was like Peter Parker was older, he was running a business. He was in a suit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's when he was.
I hated it.
Wasn't he running Stark Industries?
I think so.
Sorry,
I don't
Parker
remember,
Industries.
but I read the first. I read the first issue and I was like, what? I thought he was in high school. You know?
You got farther than I would.
So, so I kind of gave up on that, and but then the business stuff started picking up, so the time to read really dwindled. So I started, so that's a quick nutshell of how we got to where we are, or at least where we started. But the progression of the business when we started in 2015 to today, that's a whole nother story. But and I'll be honest with you, I mean, the thing that draws me to comics the most is the cover art. I mean, I know some folks don't like that because, there's a lot of comics I buy because I just like the cover art. For example, the first appearance of Suri, I bought that in 2014 just because I liked the cover. I had no idea that was her first appearance. I was digging through a dollar bin, and that piece of art stood out in my mind. I was like, wow, this is like completely painted, and I started buying those. So I've got a few of them somewhere, but I had no idea there was a first appearance in there. Not a clue.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? That's what happens. It's like the covers are what attract you to the book, right? And it kind of makes you to give it a chance. So not only do you kind of just have the cover, but you kind of flip through it.
Well, it's just like food. I mean, you eat with your eyes.
True.
But I actually never cracked that one open.
What?
I just liked the cover art. Nice. Yeah, I really just liked it. I mean, it's a beautiful painting. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's like it's a real painting,
Mm-hmm.
to be hanging in a gallery. So I'm just being honest with you guys. I haven't read it. I'm just going to be real with you, and I just like the art.
And
then when the movie came out and people started talking about that comic, I was like, oh, that's familiar with that one. And so I mean, I did read some of the stuff where I think Black Panther came to the U.S. and he was in the inner city. There was a little in the 90s, 2000s or something where he was in the inner city. I don't know. I kind of read some of that storyline. And then I read the first appearance of him. There was a facsimile edition or whatever. I don't remember right. So that was pretty cool. I mean, you guys know a lot more about the guts of comics than I do. I'll be honest.
No worries.
I highly doubt that, sir.
Oh no, seriously. I mean, well, look at the gap that I had, right? When I was 9 years old to 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 43, so that's a big gap.
Okay, so that was what, 87, 86?
Yeah, well, I mean, just think about that. That's a huge gap in the comic book world, right? Secret Wars.
And you came in with some Hickman stuff. Gosh, help you.
What about DC, Crisis? I think the New 52 was kind of midway in when I started, and I was like, why do these books all say New 52 on here? It's like 52 cards and deck of cards. I was like, why are there 8 versions of Batman that are all the same piece of art, but black and white? So,
it's to get you to buy.
Batman. So, and then Mr. Bloom, do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh God, I got his first appearance. I kind of regret it.
Yeah, I have a short box of Mr. Bloom, and then they restarted everything. I was like, oh.
That was the one misstep Snyder did.
Yeah.
I have that book.
Yep.
So, I have a short box full of Mr. Bloom or whatever. So I mean,
I have one more. I have one more question for me. Just
sure. Ask away, guys. Ask whatever you want.
Where did the name Frankie come from? Because I know we have a dog guy and a cat guy in our group, and they fight each other about which one is better. So
I'm allergic to I'm very allergic to cats. So, and I have nothing against cats. I'm just very, very allergic to cats. So it was our dog. So I had to come up with my wife, suggested we start a business, and so I had to form an LLC and get a sales tax ID and stuff. So you have to have a company name, a business name. And my dog Frankie, she was a pug. She passed away, but she was sitting next to me or on the floor when I was filling out the paperwork. So I was like, Frankie's Comics. Then I checked to see if the domain was available, and it was. So that was how we did it.
Genius.
Yeah, this crazy looking pug.
It's funny.
What's that?
It's funny. One of my local comic shops. I'm the cat dude, first off, but one of my local comic shops is also. He's a pug owner. He owns 2 pugs. and he has a pug as his logo too. So I think that might just be a pug thing too.
Well, I mean, they're really, first glance, they're very ugly.
No,
when you first see a pug, they're very ugly. And then you start looking and you're like, wow, it's kind of cute. And then it's just head over heels. We have 2 pugs now, so that we got a few months ago. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, that's what we did. The intent was to be family friendly and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was just crazy looking logo on the back of the books. And
I mean,
it's not as dark and
it's eye-catching.
Some of the other stories.
It's a real known logo, man.
It's really, it's a very challenging logo to print, like on T-shirts or hats, because there's so many different colors in it. So it drives me nuts. And we've tried to change the logo multiple times to make it easier to print, to make merchandise, create merchandise, but it's too. I think we're just stuck with it. It's not
the coasters, the coasters.
Yeah, the coaster.
That was a nice touch, man. Like in our books, we got the Yodas, and I was like, this is a nice touch, right? I use it all the time. It's an awesome coaster.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how people would like it, so I just went for it. So we've got coasters, buttons. We're getting those like face mask, neck gaiter things.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Some little keychain charm things, more stickers, and I'm looking at hats now. But trying to design a hat on the internet through a web browser is really challenging. So I got to call somebody and get some help. But so that's I'm trying to come up with stuff to give away to include in the packaging so that people remember us. Hopefully,
awesome.
The plan.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Well, how do you pick your artists for your custom covers? Are they just like favorites of yours, or just the hot artist of the week, or do you just is there a process?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, most of the projects with Marvel or DC, they start, a month to 2 months before the book comes out. So I have to predict, I have to do my best to predict what artist is going to be popular when the book comes out or when we put it up for sale. So a lot of it is, I have to like the artist first. Okay, that's the first thing.
Sure.
I have to be interested in the art. Okay, I'm not gonna. Most cases, I'm not gonna do something that I'm not interested in. I have done that before, but so somebody I'm interested in, and I got to see if that artist I feel is going to be popular enough to move enough units to pay for the project. I mean, I got to turn a profit or at least break even. And then we try to we look at the title of the book or maybe what's in the book, and then we try to find an artist that is appropriate for that title. Right. So Christy Zillow, great artist, but I wouldn't want to use her on Dark Knight's Death Metal. Batman Adventures, perfect, but Death Metal, probably not her strong suit. So you got to kind of match the artist style with the title. And then so that's kind of what we do. And then there's artists that I just enjoy working with that are really, really cool and fun to work with, like Peach Momoko. She's very easy to work with, very fun. She's very fast. So if the artist can be challenging to work with, then I'm less inclined to cover. But,
can you name some of them? No, I'm just
that are challenging to work with.
Don't do it.
I can't do that, but so that's kind of what we do. We hope that folks like the art that we get, that they like the artist. It doesn't work out all the time. Sometimes it does, though. But every once in a while, I'll do something just because I like the artist. Even though some folks may not care for the artist, I'll still do it because I really believe in the artist.
Yeah, I think you caught fire with Peach. I mean, it's hitting at the right time, and it seems like you have all the right books.
Well, so the first store that I recall doing a Peach Momoko cover that I remember, I'm not, this is just what I'm remembering, is Sanctum Sanctorum Comics in Michigan.
Yeah.
They did a Black Cat cover with her. And what was my first cover with her? Oh, the first cover I did was Red Sonja with her, and it sold really well, and I really liked the art. There's a lot of detail in the hair and stuff that I really liked. So, we started seeing more and more of her art, and we started to see the demand for her covers increase, obviously. And DC announced Batman Adventures, and I thought that would be an appropriate, her style would be really good for that. And then, from there we were like, okay, well, she's never done a DC cover, so we need to have the most popular DC character on the cover, right? Well, the most popular character on a cover that sells covers, right? Because obviously Batman's the most popular DC character, right? In my opinion, right? My son has Batman underwear. Okay, so
who doesn't? I'm wearing my Batman underwear now.
I got a whole pack.
So, but as far as what sells covers, like Harley Quinn sells more covers. So we asked her to paint Harley Quinn, and DC said that it had to be. Oh, Peach, I think, wanted to do the classic costume. I guess I call it the clown costume. I don't know if there's a proper name, but when she was like in the circus or whatever. And then the expression that Peach came up with on the face just nailed the attitude. Like, it's just perfect, So, so that really blew up and did really well. But that honestly was, I think, Frankie's Comics, me, my wife, and our employee Gabriella and stuff, and we came up with the character to put on the cover and the title, the book to use, and then we just got out of the way and we just asked Peach to draw Harley Quinn or paint Harley Quinn, and she came up with that. So that's how that came about. And then we saw the sales, right, of how that did, and that was all
pre-COVID, right? The sales were pre-COVID?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right before. Yeah, actually, I think so. Okay. Yeah. But, yeah. So what was really interesting there is, like, with that particular book, we bought 1,500 copies of the minimal trade dress and 3,000 copies of the trade dress. And I shared it with some other stores. But I sold out of my allotment of the minimal trade dress in a short period of time. But what was really amazing is I sold out of the trade dress. My allotment of the trade dress was a lot of copies to move.
Wow. So you did the reverse.
So, yeah, I mean, she just nailed the expression. I mean, when I look at the piece, it's just the expression of Harley, that attitude. And she really just captured it, And so it just did extremely well, and I think it appealed to a lot of fans. There were a lot of, like, whenever we get a sale, I get a pop up on my phone and you see the customer's name, and there were a lot of women buying the book, which I typically don't see. So, and a lot of first time customers that were buying it, which is pretty cool. So it just really reached pretty far. But yeah, and then we just kept doing more and more projects with her, but we still work with a lot of other artists. I mean, we have for Dark Knight or for Death Metal, we have a Francesco Mattina cover. He's one of my favorite artists.
Yep.
And Clayton Crane has agreed to do a cover for Death Metal later on in the series for us.
Nice.
He hasn't started it yet, but
and we can see that Crane.
Yeah, and he's probably my favorite artist, frankly. So, we still work with a lot of other artists. It's not, we're not changing the name from Frankie's Comics to Peach's Comics. We're still gonna do covers with other artists. What's that?
That's a good name, though.
Peach's Comics?
Peach's Comics.
Someone didn't say that to you, did you?
So what we see, like, with the store, so I sell store variants, right, obviously, primarily, and what we tend to see is stores that compete with us they'll like hit one artist and they'll really stick with that artist, and we try really hard not to do that. We want to have very different types of art to keep it fresh. we do have a good string of Peach covers coming, but like I said, we have other artists that we're working with on a regular basis as well. So we're trying to keep it mixed, keep a good mix of different styles of art. So for example, we have so Peach did issues 1 and 2 of Batman Adventures, and for issue 3 we're using Ji-Hung Lee. He's doing a Bat.
Wow.
That's my favorite artist.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's pretty cool. And then for Dark Knight's Metal, Ji-Hung did the first issue, Wonder Woman. Matina did issue 2 with the Batman Who Laughs. And then issue 3 is going to be Peach, but it's going to be something very different than what folks typically see of her art. It's a lot darker.
Cool.
And we'll have a new character on the cover of that issue as well.
Whoa, okay.
I'm excited.
Breaking news.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
excited.
Is she gonna still do the Star
then,
Wars
you know,
ones?
yeah. So for Star Wars, we've got we did the Yoda cover, and I didn't think that cover was going to sell very well. It wasn't because of the art. I mean, it wasn't because of the art. I want to be clear on that. Like, don't edit that out with the disclaimer. But it's because it was
it's fire.
It's an all ages. It's an all ages book.
It's a kid's book,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and not everybody likes Yoda. I mean, I like Yoda, but not everybody likes Yoda, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's in the swamp, he's green, he's stealing stuff from Luke Skywalker.
It looks like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Same voice.
Kermit the Frog.
So when you work with Lucasfilms, if you guys watch the other podcasts I did, they kind of give you a choice of what characters you can put on the cover, and Yoda was one of them. So we went with Yoda, because he, in the cartoon, the Clone Wars cartoons, which is outstanding.
Yes.
Awesome.
Some of the battle scenes in that are just like, you just get your blood moving. They're so. It's just I'm 43 years old and I like this cartoon. I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed, but it's
we're all there with you, sir. We're all there with you.
We all watch cartoons.
Nothing wrong with
that.
I
mean, we had an
like
episode about
that
He-Man,
episode where they were one of the Jedi masters, the Jedi was actually a bad guy. He turned bad, and then he was having the clones fight each other. I don't know if you remember that, but like those battle scenes when the clones were actually fighting each other, that was crazy good. It's like something out of Lord of the Rings movie kind of battles. I mean, so it's really cool. So Yoda was a big part of that series, and I was watching that series, and so that's kind of how that came about. I didn't think the cover was going to do very well, and when we showed it, people really liked it. So we were, I was really shocked, and so we have another cover by Peach with Rey on the cover. And that's coming on Star Wars, I don't know, whatever, Star Wars 32. It's another Star Wars Adventures. It's another kid's book, I think, with IDW. So that releases in June. So that was pretty cool. And we're trying to do a Darth Maul cover with Peach. So we're just going to keep going. And Darth Maul, and in our Facebook group, I have a Facebook group for Frankie's Comics, and we took a poll on what character we should do in August for Star Wars with Peach, and it looks like Luke Skywalker won.
Wow.
I'm not a big Luke Skywalker fan.
Which version?
I did not vote for Luke Skywalker. Well, I sent an email to IDW to find out which version, because Lucasfilm was very specific. So I like what costume. So what I'm hoping for is the Return of the Jedi.
There you go.
The black costume.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the black gloves. That's what I'm hoping for,
great.
but I don't know if they're gonna go for that.
Green lightsaber.
I really just the Luke in the New Hope was just. I was like, they should have left his ass in the trash.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Don't even get me started on that whole movie.
I mean, we're 80s kids, right? So yeah, we're 80s kids, so we all remember watching Return of the Jedi, right? Like us 40-year-old guys.
Right.
That's our jam.
Pretty cool. Yeah, he rolled up on Jabba. He was like, "Release my friends," blah blah blah. He was all with the hood on and everything.
Oh, yeah.
it was pretty. That was a cool Luke Skywalker, you know. And then he turned himself into Vader, like he manned up and went in there to save his friends. I mean, like that was cool. But the New Hope, I mean, I was like, man, you need to go back to farming or whatever you're doing. It was just so.
All the whiny Lukes are like New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then he's the man in Last Jedi.
So, if they come back and say it has to be a New Hope Luke Skywalker, I may override the vote from the Facebook group.
Leia.
I'd love to see Leia. I'd love to see Leia.
Jabba Slayer Leia.
I'd love to see
Let's
Leia.
go around. Let's go around to who would you like as a character. I'm gonna start with Alonzo.
So my favorite for throughout the first trilogy, and that it was always Luke Skywalker. Like my brother and I would play outside in the backyard, and he would be Han Solo, and I would be Luke Skywalker. So
Next.
for me, Luke Skywalker was the man. I mean, he never gave up.
You already won. Next.
He had magic.
Are you getting a Luke Skywalker cover though?
I'd be on it. I voted for Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
All right, Nick, your turn, Nick.
I got it. Like I suggested in the Facebook group, Leia. I couldn't believe she wasn't an option. R.I.P. Carrie Fisher.
Peach. A Peach Leia would be dope.
A Peach Leia.
Slave Leia. No, there's no slave Leia.
Nick has a really good theory.
All right, Jabba Hunter Leia.
It's gonna be PC, no
Slave Leia.
Powerful Leia.
Jabba Slayer Leia.
I will give you the official name for her now. It's
Or-
Hut Slayer Leia.
Yeah, that one.
Laura.
What they refer to as a slave Leia costume. It's Hut Slayer Leia.
She did kill Jabba.
It's from the books. Trust me, I'm a Star Wars nerd. I got the background.
If I had to go with something a little bit more
Quick pick.
middle, I would say then a Mandalorian, maybe Boba Fett. You know, there's a lot of hotness in that general area. You know me, I'm about spec, man. I want books to be worth money.
Nick has a good theory, man. He's like, any Peach female character sells like crazy. You know, and that's a good theory. You know,
she's excellent at it. So
I've got two good female ones for you then, Nick.
Go ahead. You're next then. You're next. What do you got?
Ajay Ventress, because she hasn't done a bad guy, and I just think she is just an awesome character and fits Clone Wars. Or Shakti.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
One of those two characters, because Shakti is, you're not going to get Ahsoka probably. Shakti is.
Oh no, I asked.
Whoa, wait! Did you say you are? You're getting Ahsoka.
No, I asked for Ahsoka, and they said no. I was willing to donate an arm to get Ahsoka.
But that's what I'm saying.
Sabine?
You could get Shakti. Shakti is the same race as her. Beautiful colors, the red of her skin, and everything.
I agree with
she would pop out like crazy. Mm-hmm. Plus, you can keep the whole Jedi thing going.
I have no idea who these characters are.
All right, I want to go next on this.
You and I got to talk, Nick.
Go, Rob.
All right. If you really want to sell books, I think Sabine, Baby Yoda, or Captain Rex.
One of them are taken.
You're not getting Baby Yoda anytime soon.
But if you can't get Baby Yoda, I'd say Sabine or Captain Rex.
I have to Google Sabine. See.
Oh, Mandalorian.
Sabine. Wait, who am I?
Awesome.
Why is that?
Sabine is from Rebels.
Sabine
she was the Mandalorian from Rebels.
Oh, okay.
But she had like the
I
tagger
haven't watched,
spray paint.
I haven't watched Rebels.
They're saying
do yourself a favor and watch it.
The colors on her hair.
Okay.
She's a Mandalorian, dude. You will kill it with that.
She also wielded the
dark
saber for a while.
Wasn't she in the Clone Wars too, though? The movie, Clone Wars cartoon?
No,
not yet.
No,
but she might appear in the Mandalorian show as well.
Yeah.
A live action.
Cassian, she could appear in Cassian for sure. You know, like it's in her range, like her era, too.
She's gonna be live action 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But do yourself a favor, if you like Clone Wars,
I was thinking of a different character.
If you like Clone Wars, you'll love Rebels.
Yeah.
And for my pick, you know what? My pick's always gonna be Lando. Like
Lando's cool.
I love Lando. Lando was he was one of my my heroes when I was growing up, man. So.
He has to have a Colt 45 with him. That's what I say.
Rob, I told you I've got a signed print from Billy D. Williams of him. It's a Colt 45 ad. I met him years ago. It's a Colt 45 ad, and he actually started signing it, Lando Calrissian, and stopped and wrote Billy D. Williams on it.
I gotta say, man, Billy D. When you meet
awesome.
Billy D, it's like meeting Lando. Like, he is just so damn cool, man.
No,
I met him last year. I was like blown. I was like, dude, you're just as cool as you were on.
He got lost in his eyes.
It's the grumpiest Lando ever. I met Billy D at a Wizard World Con or something like that, and he could barely look up. Like, he to give us time of the day. He's Billy D. Williams, man. He sees all of us. He's like, you bunch of nerds, dude.
Maybe he was in too many cool
cool,
45s.
I'm too damn cool. I'm
saying,
you have money for me?
I think he thinks you're a nerd there, Nick.
You're probably wearing a Spider-Man shirt, and he's like, I can't deal with that.
I totally was, man. I probably had, it was a Power Ranger shirt. It was a black Power Ranger shirt.
Oh, there you go.
And
not even Voltron?
No.
Come on, get the real stuff.
It's Zach, and it's always Zach.
He saw that Power Ranger stuff, and he was like, get that shit out of here, man.
Yeah.
No, but he said to me, he was like, I said, man, you are my hero. He goes, thank you, son. I was like, dude, Lando.
That's awesome.
That was awesome, man. I was so stoked. But I gotta say, he was like 2 hours late to a signing. Remember that, JR? He was about 2 hours late to a signing over at Entertainment Earth. But it was worth seeing him, and I was standing there right in front of him, and I was just like, this is the man. So
I met him at a small little con that we have here in Sacramento called SacCon, and I paid $20 to get his autograph, to get the picture. All I wanted with him was a picture, really. But they're like, you have to buy it. I was like, okay. Nicest guy in the world. Mm-hmm. Super nice. I mean, he couldn't stand. Yeah, it's $20.
What year is this?
Yours was a deal.
You're making me think that far back. You know how old I am. Early 2000s, maybe.
Okay, wow, yeah, that's going back.
My autograph cost $100.
Well, you got hosed.
I know I got hosed. I had to. It cost me $100 plus those 2 mugs. Remember those 2 mugs?
And the memory. Yeah. You have the memory forever.
Yeah, the memory.
It was worth it.
All right.
Hey, so let me ask you a question, Kevin. Do you still go? Do you still go hunting, man? Do you have time to do it?
No, I mean, I feel like you're either a retailer or you're a collector. It's tough because I'm constantly running the business, and I have a full-time job outside of comics as well. So, not really. I do, if I do buy a few things off eBay or whatever that I'm interested in personally, but as far as like speculating or flipping, I don't really do that anymore because I'm pretty busy. I have nothing against it. I'm pretty busy with what I've got going on. But I do pay attention to what the speculators are. I try to pay attention to what the speculators are looking at. But the Yoda cover caught me off guard. I didn't think that would be selling for what it is now. But I don't anymore really. But I have been buying some stuff recently during the COVID deal. So I bought a couple copies of like Ultimate Fallout, the ratio variants, and high grades.
You hear that, Nick?
I'm becoming very familiar with that book.
Yeah. What else did I buy recently? What if Deadpool possessed Venom?
That one that you're
I've
giving
always
out
liked
free.
That cover by Scotty Young. Yeah. So I bought 2 of those. So one for the group and one for myself.
You guys all signed up, right?
I'm not.
Oh, I am.
I hope everybody did. There's a. I apologize. I mean, I don't remember the issue number. I'm sorry, but there's a Wonder Woman cover by David Finch that was a ratio variant from UPC2. That goes for a little bit of money. I've always liked that cover, so I got that. I've been buying up Peach covers, ratio variants, and Peach. And what else did I get? Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we 298, 200, 301, and 316.
Wow.
I got those. Everything except for 300 was signed by Todd.
Nice.
I didn't get them signed. I bought them from another collector. What's that?
CGC?
CGC. They're all 90. So I splurged on that.
That's crazy. That's awesome, man.
My hero.
And I was really...
Jeez.
I was really shocked
Dream
at the
run.
price of 301.
Isn't it crazy?
301
Like,
is moving up in price.
like why? It's a $20 book. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You mean it's not like the first cameo of Venom or something like weird like that they're trying to do with like Hulk
After
180?
cameo, one-time cameo, special appearance.
Post credits
something.
cameo.
So I mean, if you just look at the price of that 301, it's moving up. I'm a big Miles Morales fan, so that's why I bought the Ultimate Fallout books. Those are I'm just gonna hold on to those for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, and the movie is my favorite movie.
He's the
Spider-Verse.
Did you get
He's
the
the
set,
future
Brent?
of the Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah, he's future.
Yep.
I mean, I was watching it today a little bit, so in
The second
between
and
meetings
third
at
print,
work.
too.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so the first print, you know, I think one sold today at 9.8 on eBay that I put an offer in on. I put an offer like $650, but it sold for $750.
Damn.
Yeah, 9.8. Yeah, and
Crazy, man.
And then so we're fast approaching $1,000 on the first print, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
the
it's the
auction's
NYX.
going now.
Like the regular
It's the
cover.
NYX of this time.
Yeah, I'm talking the first print regular cover, and the second print I think, please don't quote me on this, but I think it's now a $500 book, 400 to
What?
500 in
Oh
CGC
my
9.
god, you gotta be kidding.
Gotta be
Yeah.
kidding.
No
dude.
way.
No,
Nick, you
I'm
probably
not.
have a
I'm
ton
not
of those, don't
100%
you?
sure on that.
I got
But
4.
just somebody
I got
check,
3.
double check my numbers to make sure.
I got 4 for you, Nick.
So
Yeah, let's
Check it
go,
out, Nick.
man. That book, you know, the second print prints like presses out pretty nice, you know, and because it doesn't have that polybag crease. So if you can buy them raw, buy them raw.
And Kevin, I got a test for Nick. He is an expert on pressing Ultimate Fallouts.
okay.
He's a man. Yeah.
That's like all he's gotten, right?
So the next book I have my eye on is Edge of Spider-Verse, first appearance of Gwen Stacy.
When?
Spider-Verse,
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah.
Nick,
that's
you know
my
where that
girl.
one's at, bro.
One
You know where
that's
that one's
gonna
at.
That's my girl.
But it keeps
I think-
creeping up. But I don't want to pay $400.
It's either pay 400
I
now or
think
pay
he-
800 in 6 months.
Yeah, I think if Miles is moving, Gwen's gonna move.
She's next.
Oh, she's
and I
showing
can
up
tell-
in. Yeah.
From a sales perspective, you know, Spider-Gwen is the most popular Marvel female character. Like, if you put her on a cover, whew, people love that. So,
Oh,
and she
yeah.
doesn't get that many covers. I mean, if you actually kind of look,
Yeah.
like there's way more Black Cat covers. So, so I think if you're interested, you should jump in now. And I don't know that I don't think there's a single blue label CGC 9.8 on eBay right now, at least when I looked this afternoon.
Well, and also, I mean, you got to think
not.
about this. What happened when Sony announced Jackpot? Or the rumors of Jackpot. Her book all of a sudden skyrocketed.
Yep.
Madam
Yeah, I
Web,
don't know if
that book skyrocketed.
I'm not.
They
I'm
want
not
a female
buying
lead character.
that.
But what I'm
They
saying
have
is
one in Spider. In Gwen. I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
not,
saying.
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to do. They're going
They-
to get
they
around
need
to
a
doing
live
movie
action.
with her.
They need a live action.
Yeah, I saw those rumors and I was, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm like, wait a minute, you got
No, you're
got
not.
Spider-Gwen or who's this other character? What is this? Like, I don't even know what's
Jackpot
the
and
name.
Madam
or-
Web.
I'd take Spider-Gwen or Silk.
Yeah, I think so. Might be
Yeah,
in
I'm
the-
like, what do you, so I think those are just rumors. I mean, I think we'll see a black James Bond before we see that character.
Idris Elba.
That's my opinion. I mean, yeah, right.
Smoky ass.
But I just,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
that's hilarious.
So there's an Edge of the Spider-Verse
Dave
on
Chappelle.
eBay right now. 9.8, 18 bids, $550 with 2 days left.
I was talking
Wow.
about the ratio. I'm sorry. I don't think the ratio
Oh.
variant has a 9.8 blue label on eBay. Right
Oh, the
Sorry.
variant. Okay.
But
Yeah, the
still,
Greg Land variant. That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
the first print, that's still crazy. It was a $400 book before COVID. and now it is
People have money.
$5.50.
They're not
People
going
have
out
more
shopping,
money.
buying clothes.
For me, the Miles Morales and the Spider-Gwen, the movie, really put them on the map for the average person, right?
Yep.
So my daughter likes Spider-Gwen, but I tried to give her a Spider-Gwen comic, and she was like, nah, I want to watch the movie. So, my mom knows who these characters are now. So they're kind of becoming more mainstream. Unfortunately, we kind of lost a little heat because the movie got delayed, right? The second movie got delayed.
Yeah.
That's
So
okay,
we kind
because
of
you
lost
can
a little
start buying.
momentum there.
Did you see
Well,
the Spider?
I mean, these prices are even crazy.
Yeah.
It has to do with the stimulus checks, but
Yeah.
the book is probably going to settle higher than what it was pre-COVID. But the question is, where? And where do you in, right? Am I buying in an auction that's at $550 with 2 days left? This book might close at almost $700 with 2 days left. That's crazy numbers. And
Yeah.
like you said, there's none of them that are on eBay for buy it now at $500 anymore. They're all gone. But where are we at come August or October or
When
November?
rent's due.
When rent's due, I don't know. I would.
Yeah,
My
I don't know.
hope and my dream and my fantasy is that's back to $400 so I can quickly buy as many as I can.
Are you sure you'd buy it? Because, you could have bought it pre-COVID.
Nick knows
Yeah,
where one is. I showed him.
Yeah, but is it a 9.8 though?
I don't know. You might want to take a look, though.
All I
before
have
Rob
to say
it.
is, you all keep looking over that Spider-Man
Yeah.
area. I'm just keep my X-Men stuff over here, okay? Just stay away from my X-Men
Hey,
stuff.
you can cut
Because that's
that
gonna be
out
next.
out of the podcast right
He's
there.
a,
Cut
he's a
that whole
Spider-Man
part
hater.
out.
He's a Spider-Man
Yeah,
hater.
he hates Spider-Man.
Don't let
Yeah.
the public know about the X-Men stuff yet.
Man, your group has blown up. Your group is the group to get into on Facebook. I want to ask you, when are you going to close it so we can just be exclusive members? No, I'm just playing. But tell us about your group. You're moving the market, man. You've got me and Nick looking for these hip hop variants now. Seriously, just because of your post.
The group. So I actually bought that group from Nelson Chua at Big Time Collectibles a couple of years ago, and I didn't really do anything with it. And it was kind of like, the scenes from the Western before the big showdown where the tumbleweed blows through town. Somebody literally went into the group and posted a lawnmower.
What?
Oh,
wow.
Oh my
That's
God.
Specking on a lawnmower.
Yeah, so that's when we started we kicked out a bunch of people that were they weren't participating. And then I tried to have the group be 200 or 300 people, but from a sales standpoint, those so I would give those 200 or 300 people early access to the exclusive covers I was doing, but they weren't buying that much. And so I was thinking about shutting the group down, honestly. And then one of my good friends, James Dawson, suggested that we just open the group up for anybody that wants to come. And so I started doing that a few months ago, and the numbers grew, and then the sales started to follow, which is really cool. So I don't want to close the group. So from a sales side, the more people you have in the group, the more potential sales you can get. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I think that we should just allow everybody to join, because there's a group called Comic Book Fiend Club. Have you guys ever heard of that? They go to a lot of conventions, and they have these motorcycle jackets. They're nice people. I mean, it's not like a gang, but they have these motorcycle jackets. And they, it's kind of tough to get into their group. And somebody I know was trying to get into their group, and they wanted that person to I don't know what the requirements were, but so I want it to be easy to get in, and just, so we get more sales, and we're inclusive. We include everybody. That's what I'm thinking. I don't want to. So I did have to set up questions though, because I didn't want any more lawnmower sales going on. We at least the bare minimum is that you like comics. That's really the bare. You don't have to buy a single comic from us, but we just want you to like comics. that's the basic thing. So I put up these kind of stupid questions just to see if people answer them. But there's a surprising number of people that don't answer any of the questions. So we just deny those folks.
That's crazy.
So it's weird. So and they're easy questions. What's better, CGC or CBCS? There's no right answer there, honestly. I just want to see if you kind of have an idea that you can get comics graded. Who's your favorite comic book artist? Do you buy comics? Do you agree with the group rules? So it's pretty straightforward. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
As far as me posting in the group, like the Miles Morales hip hop cover, I read an article on GoCollect.com that highlighted that and some other books. And, you know, like I said, when we started the interview here, those hip hop covers is what got me into the comics. Like, got me back into a comic book store. And that was always a cool cover. And I really like Adi Granoff's art. So, honest to God, I don't have a single copy of that book. I'm not like some people will say that I'm trying to like pump and dump stuff.
Pump and dump.
I don't have any to dump.
You know,
there's a signed.
They're fire.
There's a signed one on eBay for like $300 and something bucks. I'm thinking about buying that.
You should try and look it for the Inhumans hip hop cover. The Inhumans cover is like a ghost.
Yeah.
Me and Nick have a lead on. Me and Nick have a lead on that, Miles. So just hold off. Me and Nick will try and hook you up.
So, and I'm a big Miles Morales fan, right? So, that's why I'm not trying to push it, or I don't own a single copy, so I don't have any skin in the game. But the Inhumans cover you're talking about, that was a ratio variant, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? And so the other one that's hard to find is that Deadpool cover. Or like issue 2 or something, which is like a 1/100 ratio variant or something like that, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that the one where he's dressed up in hip hop?
It's based off the Vanilla Ice cover, I think. Cover.
Oh, the Vanilla Ice.
There was
somebody could do a Google.
It's not the Campbell one. It's not the Campbell one.
Okay, because that's the 1 in 200 one, right?
So, yeah, if somebody can look it up, maybe you could show it, but that. I own one copy of that, but I'm not selling. So again, I just want to be careful. I'm not trying to pump and dump this stuff or pump it.
No.
But that one's really hard. And so here's the thing that I would say, like, okay, so I'm going to put my speculator hat on. If it were me, I would be trying to get the Deadpool cover, because Deadpool's just a much more popular character than the Inhumans. And Marvel's kind of squashed the Inhumans a little bit, because now that they've got the X-Men back. So you're not going to see a whole lot of that stuff going on anymore. But Deadpool is obviously very popular. My son, knows who Deadpool is, and he likes Deadpool and all that. So he wants to watch the movies, and he's too young for that. But, and the movies were really good, right? So my mom knows who Deadpool is now. So I'm wearing
Is that your bar? You asked your mom, you're like, do you know who this is?
Well, if my mom knows who a comic book character is, that character's mainstream, right? And so that means there's going to be more demand. In my humble opinion, that means there's going to be more demand for those characters on comic books.
That's your litmus test, your mom? You ask her, what character is it?
That's one of them, yeah.
So quick story.
It's one of them.
Quick story. Several of us went to Comic-Con, and the year that Deadpool 2 came out, they did toilet seat covers.
Oh, I remember
in the bathrooms.
People were jacking.
People were stealing boxes of toilet seat covers.
I remember that. It was crazy.
You could not find toilet seat covers in the con by like the second day.
I wasn't there, but I heard about that, and I've seen them on eBay for sale.
They were.
What the hell is this toilet seat cover? But,
we were all there.
They were stealing them on Tuesday night when we were waiting in line already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, so if if you're trying to come up with a comic book cover, you want to put characters on the cover that are drawing attention to the general population, because somebody might my mom might go onto eBay and type in Deadpool, and one of my covers may pop up and the person may buy it. So, like, nobody's searching for Iceman.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
We're not going to put Iceman on the cover, right? So I don't think I've ever seen a pair of Iceman underwear, but I've seen Deadpool underwear.
Those would be some cold underwear.
Yeah. but to get back to the X-Men thing, I want to go back to the gentleman here. So I think you're on to something there. And because Marvel is going to have big plans for the X-Men, right? So Jonathan Hickman is writing X-Men, and there's a lot of series. And here's something I just, point out. Like, Marvel's announcing some of their books are not going to finish in print. They're going to go to digital, right? Like, so, but notice any, I didn't see the X-Men on that list.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've got some good creative teams on that. So right now, if it was me, I'd be, while everybody's looking for Ultimate Flaw, I'd be snatching up some NYX
Mm-hmm.
3.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I'm gonna say here.
NYX3, some Uncanny 129 for Kitty Pride.
Mm-hmm.
129 has actually jumped up.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's my girl.
Pick up like Generation X. I mean, not Generation X. Generation X, where you get a lot of
21,
those.
Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, first
And
Jubilee
here,
would be
I'm
another
gonna make this prediction on your show. All right.
Uh-oh.
This is my prediction. Hugh Jackman's gonna be back as Wolverine.
There's a lot of
I don't
rumblings
think
to
so.
that. There's a lot of rumblings.
He's
to
going
that.
to.
I
So
think they're going to go
here's
with
why.
X23.
Cameo, maybe.
Go
Honey
ahead.
Badger.
Well, I think he's gonna be in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mickey Mouse, Disney, they're gangster. If they want something, they're gonna be like, Hugh, if you want another job, we need you to get exercising. You need to come on down because all them other deals you looking at. Oh, sorry.
Bro, I was just watching him on HBO as playing a teacher, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?"
Yeah, but, Mickey Mouse has got a knife. He cuts you. So,
But this is my one qualm with that is he is getting to a point where he can't get that. I mean, obviously I'm never gonna get in that shape. I mean, I don't care how much I work out, and he can still get into it. But he's also getting that age where it's like,
He's
okay,
in his 50s, right?
I think he's late 50s.
he might be in his late 50s.
Yeah.
So I think eventually we're gonna get X23.
I
I
don't
think
know
they're gonna
about that.
switch over.
I remember watching Sean
they got
Connery
some
in The
steroids,
Rock,
something.
and The Rock,
Yeah.
and Sean
They
Connery
don't
was
have
killing
some
in The Rock. So.
All I know is I want
Blood
The Rock to
transfusion.
play thing. Give me the Rock-esque thing.
I think they already told us what's happening, right? The Multiverse of Madness is coming, right?
Yeah, with
And
WandaVision.
with Multiverse of Madness, I could see a Hugh Jackman show up. This is Wolverine, and that reestablishes Wolverine in the MCU. And then they go, oh well, that multiverse area now is closed. We acknowledged it. We bookended the Fox stuff, and now oh look, mutants are a thing in the MCU. This is young Wolverine and someone completely
He
different.
could play Old Man Logan, and they introduce a young version of the 616.
Come on,
But
we
I
all want that. We all want the Hulk 181 redone. We want that Hulk versus Wolverine. Give me a 5-minute knockdown, drag-out, slobber knocker fight where those two just go at it. No one wants to see some new guy. We want to see Hugh Jackman go in there and just wreck house.
Yeah.
We've grown up, with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's Wolverine. I mean, and to try to cast him with another actor is going to be really, really hard. And it wouldn't be hard for them to weave him into the series, into the MCU. So I think that that's what's going to happen. I really do. But I don't have any evidence to support that. It's just my speculation.
I hope so.
Got a feeling.
Because I've seen every X-Men movie in the theaters, even that last train wreck, and I deserve that Wolverine fight.
If you look at so I compare it to Superman and what's the actor's name now?
Cavill.
Okay, I'm proving. No. See, we're proving my point. Who's the new actor for Superman? That's
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Oh, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Look, everybody was like
Christopher Reeves.
Okay.
Superman.
So it's like a
'cause
Superman
we're
paradox,
old.
right? Like when we were
Oh,
Yeah, but we're
we were
old.
growing up, and it was Christopher Reeves, right? Christopher Reeves was Superman.
Does anyone
He
remember
is
who was
Superman.
in between
Like,
there?
Brandon
right? Well,
Roth.
Brandon
I
Roth.
mean,
Yeah.
I do. 'Cause
No, the
Yeah,
guy from ABC, the Lewis and Clark.
Dean Clark? Dean Kane?
Yeah.
It's supposed to
Well-
be Nicolas Cage. You know that, right?
Yes.
so I mean, it's the same thing with Hugh Jackman. I mean, Henry Cavill went to Times Square. I don't know if I saw this video of him on a TV show. He went to Times Square under the Superman billboard. He was on the billboard dressed as Superman. He was standing under it in street clothes, and the police asked him to move. They had no idea who he was. People were asking him to take pictures of their family. Like, can you hold my phone and take this picture?
I saw
Like,
that.
nobody knew who he was. Now, if Christopher Reeves came up out of the grave and went to Times Square, they'd be like, Superman!
You see panties dropping, bro.
It's because
Yeah.
people have mixed feelings about Henry Cavill as Superman. That's why, and the way like the
Snyderverse.
DCEU's.
He did great. I mean, I like him. He's a great actor, but he's not Superman. I'm sorry. He's just not Superman.
He's an amazing Witcher, though.
You
Oh,
can't.
he's coming back.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Reeves. I mean,
Superman
that's
2.
Superman. And
Superman 2 when the bad Superman was there, right?
Yeah.
That was like the,
But
Chris
Black
Rock-
Shadow.
And he had
the whole thing.
yeah.
Drinking and partying.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it was just. Yeah, Richard Pryor was in the Superman movie. I mean,
right.
yeah. That was Superman. And like when you saw him on the screen, he was flying. It was like, wow, that's so cool. He's just underwear flying. I mean, but it's the same thing with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It's just you can't. It's just going to be hard to replace him. And if you do replace him, your ticket sales are going to take a hit because all of us on this thing are going to be like, that's not Wolverine. I'm not going to see that.
Well, that's why I think it has to be X-23.
Yeah.
No, Secret Wars is coming, guys. Secret Wars, it's coming, and it's going to be Hugh
Secret
Jackman,
Invasion.
like Kevin is saying, but it's going to be Hugh Jack. The Fox universe will be its own number in the numbers of the Marvel universe things.
I don't think
It's gonna be
regular
Secret
people can
Invasion.
keep up with that stuff, man. Like that's gonna confuse all of these other people who don't have no idea what
We've
comics
had
are.
people appear out of portals out of nowhere at the end of Avengers.
What universe is 616?
Exactly.
I can
You
hear
know,
my
they
wife.
already-
I can hear my wife.
They already like sprinkled that with Mysterio. He's like, this Earth is 616.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It
you know
is.
he's making.
They already
that
The
introduced
up.
Spider-Man movie, so it doesn't count.
But it's been introduced. It's in there, man. It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. They're gonna do it with a Spider-Verse movie, and they're gonna go, look, two different Spider-Mans that look different but are both Peter Parker, and then they're gonna go, two different Wolverines that are different but are both
Yeah.
Logan.
They're
And the
gonna
whole
go
handoff, right?
two
The whole
different
handoff
Spider-Mans.
thing going on.
One is Miles, one is Peter, one is better, and it's not Peter.
You
And
guys
then
haven't
bring
heard
Miles
the rumor
Yeah, I
that
heard
they're
it.
bringing Tobey Maguire back or
Yeah.
Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield?
Yeah, for live action. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
heard. If they do that, then what Kevin is talking about, the Hugh Jackman, it's all open then.
Mhm.
It's all open. If they go, hey, well, the Spider-Verse exists, they have two different Peter Parkers or three different Peter Parkers, and they all are different faces, then, guys, we can do anything. We can just
But
replace.
what about, can we get the other Quicksilver, please? The
I like
good
the
one,
Fox
not the one that
Quicksilver.
Oh,
died in the Marvel
They
universe.
talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
They brought it up. Yeah. That's happening.
That's the rumor this week, is that he signed on to the
WandaVision.
Scarlet Witch WandaVision movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The dude
Yeah.
from the Fox movies, not
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Kick-Ass.
good one. The good one.
He's always Kick-Ass to me. I'm like, oh, that's Kick-Ass.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. I mean, what else? Is there anything else I'm speculating on? What kind of thing?
I mean, if
I mean-
Feige's a man that can pull that stuff off, man. He
But
made.
we've also got Secret Invasion too, which they've hinted at that's going to happen, and with Captain Marvel, and I still think Captain Marvel's going to lead into the Skrull Kree War. I think that's going to, by the third one, we're going to get Skrull Kree War. But I think they could use the Skrulls to easily go, this is Wolverine that you thought, well, that was a Skrull, and bring someone else in.
Ooh, that would be like if they're like Hugh Jackman was a Skrull this whole time. Oh.
Pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I'm starting to focus on is the Star Wars comics, because I think I feel like those are going to start getting. I don't know if they're going to go up in value, but I think they're going to pick up more readers now.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Dark Horse stuff, man.
So that's the other thing.
Yeah, Dark Horse stuff's going up fast.
The only problem with the Star Wars comics right now is they're limiting them to just between the original three episode 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
They're not letting them do post Return of the Jedi and fill in that 30-year gap between Return of the Jedi and whatever the last trilogy was.
That's what
and that's what Dark Horse was all that.
Well, they did the Shadow Universe run, didn't they? That filled in a little bit.
I believe that was Dark Horse, wasn't it?
No, that was Marvel. That one.
I want a Star Wars movie that's a Blumhouse movie that's Vader just killing younglings during that 30-year period where he's just like hunting down younglings, and it's from the POV of the younglings that are trying to
you have
away.
that in Darth Vader now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of the story in Darth Vader right now.
Yeah, it's Darth Vader right now. If you read the first series from Marvel, he is out there hunting Jedi. It's great.
The Kieran Gillian's run.
Yep.
Make that movie. I will sign up.
Yeah.
Where my
make it a video game so I can do it over and over again.
I think Disney Plus opened it up for Star Wars. There's just so much things that Disney Plus can just pick and pull from everything. Yeah. We want to start a movie about evil Siths. Just get Darth Revan.
They can do a movie about the droids. As far as I'm concerned, I'd watch it.
Yeah, The Mandalorian was really good. I mean, my aunt was babysitting my kids, and we came back, and she was in the 4th episode of The Mandalorian. I was like,
dude, Mandalorian,
this is great.
She was like, this is the way.
Mandalorian is the only.
Yeah, she was it's not like Star Wars.
It's the only show my kid will sit and watch, and he's 2, and he'll sit and watch it all the way through. Just focus. That just shows you how much this thing's gonna affect these new kids. So.
Well, my wife really liked The Mandalorian, and she's not into Star Wars at all. And she's like, "Oh, when's the next episode on? You need to tell me, and we watch it." And she was like, "I'm like, this is not even fun anymore." Even
the gallery show where they're doing behind the scenes. Even the gallery show behind the scenes is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Carl Weathers, right? Is that the actor's name?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apollo Creed.
Did he survive?
Yes.
Yeah. Did he survive at the end of it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that black guy from Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Oh, Gus.
With a dark saber.
Yep.
Darth
Saber.
Yeah, he comes out. Yeah, people were like, "What is that? What is that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta watch the Clone Wars."
You're not watching. You gotta
watch Rebels.
Watch Rebels.
You watch Rebels. I saw that when I saw that blade start coming through, and I'm just like, no, there's no way they're doing that. There's no bleeping way. I was screaming on TV going, no way they're doing this. And that's what it was.
He came out of that ship with that thing. I was like, oh!
Exactly.
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
But the thing about that was...
What was the chicken restaurant called? Pollos Hermanos.
Hermanos.
He came out with the chicken cutter.
But Disney's smart, right? When he pulled out the Darksaber, my wife was like, she looked at me like, what is that? Where'd that come from? And she went and watched Rebels with me, because she wanted to know the origin, and the origins are in the comics, right? So, or in not even the comics, but in Clone Wars, right? So you have to go all the way back into Clone Wars to see its first appearance. So, hey, but Kevin, I know it's laid up there for you, and I appreciate you being on, man. And where can people
go and
hang out with find you? Yeah.
Find me, what do you mean? Come to my house? Don't come to my house.
Follow you.
Follow you to your house.
Get them Yodas.
We're trying. So I do have VF copies of the Yoda cover, but we're not selling them now. I'm just trying to let that cool down a little bit because I don't want to sell them for eBay prices. So I just want to let that book cool down a little bit. So we're trying to build the Facebook group, and we're trying to make that into a community, and we're opening up a retail store here, a brick and mortar store.
Cool.
Nice.
So it's going to be a little bit different, and we really we want people to not hang out in the comic book store. We want them to hang out in the Facebook group. So we're going to do something different in our comic book store. That's the goal. So I'm really hoping that the Facebook group becomes a community, and I would like to see more people post in the group besides me. We do have to approve each post because, again, we don't want people selling lawnmowers.
Right.
Yeah.
Or posting like a live auction sales. We get a lot lot people like, oh, this guy's going live and he's auctioning stuff off.
Did you guys kick him out?
So I kind of have like a 3-strike rule. You know, if somebody does it multiple times, I'll boot them out. So I've only had to boot a couple people out. The person who posted the lawnmower, though, that was when I purged a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the lawnmower guy got purged.
Probably got a lot of posts from us going, how do we get the secret shipping thing?
Yeah. And so people have to email us to get that because it's a multi-step process. So you have to have an account on the website, and then I have to apply that coupon code to your account so that people aren't giving out that coupon code to non-members. So
makes sense.
I have a few more minutes. Like, if you guys, I could kind of lay out some plans that we have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Oh, definitely.
We're on the West Coast. So
we're worried about you.
So we're gonna open. We got a couple things I just want. We're on the road to free shipping on the website for all orders over. So right now on the website it's like $100. You get free shipping. If you're in the Facebook group and you're in the U.S., you get free shipping if you email us and we sign you up. But we're on the road, the march to having all the U.S. orders on the website be free shipping.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Nice. That's gonna be awesome.
That's where we're headed. So, so we're trying to get there. So the test bed is the group, and we're probably at 200 people that have signed up for free shipping. I don't know how many.
You're gonna have 5 more.
I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we're on the road to free shipping in the U.S. to be specific. It's really expensive to ship international, so I can't do that. There's not enough margin on the merchandise to support that, unfortunately. But we're on the road. And the other thing is the brick and mortar store. So one problem that a lot of stores have is subscribers not paying for their pull list. I'm sure you guys have seen the post where the comic book store owner has a stack of books.
Oh yeah.
This represents my rent.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't pay for your books. So we're gonna have a pull list system where you have to pay. We're gonna hit your credit card when it's time to place those initial orders. So we're gonna make the customers pay up front. So a lot of folks are concerned about the retailers and the comic book stores, and the single biggest problem that I've identified is the pull list customers not paying in a timely manner. So the pull lists are the foundation of most comic book stores, and if your foundation is not being maintained, not being paid for, your house is going to crumble. So we've got to change that model. And most of us here are used to paying Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, Hulu, on a monthly basis. So it shouldn't be anything new. I don't know why the comic book is different. So the goal is to have the customers pay up front, and then the retail store, the brick and mortar store in this area, will be for pickup basically only. So the idea is to keep the overhead low so that we can have a reduced price on the comic. And when you combine that with the free shipping that we hope to offer, then you guys in California could, if you wanted to, I'm not saying you should, but you could buy your regular comics from us and not have to pay shipping, and hopefully we can offer a discount. So the technology that my brother and I are building to manage the pull list is going to be transparent, because the retail customers here, they're going to have to go to the website to manage their pull list. I'm not going to manage your pull list for you. You're gonna go and you'll have a portal basically, and you're gonna add and remove stuff, and then when it's time for me to order those books, we're gonna bill you. So I don't know if it's gonna work. You know, some folks are not gonna be thrilled. I would imagine you guys have pull lists, and you probably don't pay up front. Is that a fair statement?
That's
That is a fair statement.
Yeah, fair statement. Yeah.
I pay when I pick them up.
So has anybody ever not paid or been late paying?
Yeah.
No.
I've been
There's
late
sometimes
paying.
I put a book back, you know, where I'm like, this book isn't really what I thought it was going to be, or perhaps, I don't know, the condition isn't what I like, and there aren't any more copies off the shelf for me to exchange it for. So I'm like, you know what, I don't really even want this, because maybe not everything I read, something I just might want for the cover or the rarity of it.
Sure.
And if for some reason, let's say I ordered a 1 in 10 and then it becomes no longer a 1 in 10, they just make it a cover B, I no longer want it as much,
Well, that I can see, because I mean, the terms that you entered into change, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I get that, but so I don't know. I mean, I have no idea if your audience knows this, but if you go to a comic book store and you subscribe to a comic or a book, the store has to pay for that comic up front.
Mm-hmm.
So most stores in the U.S. are on cash on delivery. Can you believe that?
Yep.
So the UPS driver shows up. This is honest to God how this works. The UPS driver shows up, gets out of their truck, goes to the store and says, "I need a check." And the store owner gives him the check. Then he goes and opens the back of the truck and gives the store owner the book. If the store owner doesn't have a check, he doesn't get the book. So most stores are operating under that. So you buy, whatever, X-Men 55, and you put it back on the shelf. Well, the store owner has to eat that. So the problem comes when you have 100 people doing that. And now there's thousands of dollars in merchandise that hasn't been paid for, and the comic book store owner has to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not accusing you guys of doing that sort of thing. I'm just saying that's what we see, and then it's really hard on the comic book store owner. So we're going to try to change this, and we need to do this to protect to have comic book stores. Now we don't necessarily need to have a comic book store where it's just pickup. That's just my idea. But we need to change this mentality of paying when you pick up the book, because the store has to pay for it up front, right? So we have to, in order to save the retailers, we need to change this part of the comic book industry. It's the single biggest threat to the comic book industry there is. So a lot of folks will say it's the 90s all over again. There's going to be a bust. Well, no, because the retailers have to pay for that merchandise, literally, to get it in their hands. So the only people that are going to go bust is the retailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that happens too is if the books are late, I know a lot of people, and they do it to my shop all the time that I go to. They'll go and pick it up from another shop because they don't want to wait for my shop to get it. And now, even though they've said, "Hey, I want this book," they go and buy it from somewhere else, and then they don't honor their commitment to buying it from the shop they originally signed up for it at.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing that's really mind-boggling. You guys all have Netflix subscriptions?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You pay for that every month. So it's weird. Like, comics are the only thing that I can think of that are like this, where the customer gets to order something and not pay for it, and then the retailer has to buy it. Like, I can't think of any other retail business that operates that way. And there could be. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head. And it's really putting a lot of stores in jeopardy. And so you have this virus, the virus situation, right? And you're reading articles about stores going out of business. Well, they were barely surviving as it is because they had to pay that diamond bill every week. And now there's no more merchandise coming. And then, they're really concerned because they've ordered all this merchandise, and their customers, like you said, don't want to wait necessarily let's say there's a store in California that was on lockdown, but Midtown Comics isn't. So you guys might just go buy the book from Midtown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a house of cards. I mean, so we got to change that. So we're gonna give it a shot. You guys may not buy a single comic from me when we do.
No, honestly, I like that business plan. As a business owner, I mean, you got to be looking out for yourself. You know, I mean, so that's a good way of looking at it. And you're also being the first to market, and you know, to try something new. So that's always a good thing too.
So the other thing that we've observed is those pull list books that people don't pay for end up in those long boxes that you see when you walk into a comic book store, right? So there's hundreds of long boxes, and the place smells bad or whatever, and your wife or significant other walks in with you, turns around and leaves, right? You come out.
That is true. I've had that happen.
Yeah. So
it smells like old people.
Yeah, like my wife and I went to a comic book store here, and you know, she just turned around and left. She was like, "I'm out." So, yeah, I mean, and I had to use the bathroom. And I looked at the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna hold it." So, you know, it was just so that all that merchandise that's not paid for ends up in that back dock, ends up in the dollar bins, right? And you know. But that's all merchandise that's been paid for by the store that they haven't been able to sell. So it's just every single comic that is new, a lot of the modern comics you see at these stores, they've been paid for and haven't sold. So that's a lot of money tied up. And then these guys are in their 50s and 60s, and they want to retire, and so they want to sell their store, and they have this high value on the inventory, right? So they can't find a buyer because they're asking so much for that inventory, because they're like, I got to get some money back out of this. Mm-hmm. So it's really different. So you're going to see these guys retiring, and the store goes away because nobody wants to buy it or pay that high price for that inventory, right? So when you buy inventory, you have a tendency to act like a collector and say that this is worth so much, and I got to get this money, otherwise I'm lost. And, you know, so they'd rather just go out of business than get rid of it. So we're really trying not to develop that backstock that way, to see if this works. So we got to do something to change it up, guys. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at fewer and fewer comic book stores. So,
well, I can speak for myself, and I don't mind paying up front because I'm going to pick up the books anyway. It's just sometimes, like, I see a variant that I didn't know of, and that's when I switch off books. But I let the owner know, and he's like, "Oh, totally cool, man." You know.
The only thing that scares me is I know myself, and I look through previews, and I go, "I want that. I want that. Yeah. I want that." Yeah. And then by the end of it, I'm like, "Oh, shoot! I got 100 items here. Let me cut this list." Because you get to that point, you look through that magazine, and just like it's a candy store. You just go like, all this stuff is really cool. Mm-hmm. But at least you're paying up front. I mean,
I'm kind of the opposite.
You would go and what's that?
No, I'm kind of the opposite from JR. I mean, there's the core books that I will always get. Yeah. And I'll always try to get variants of that particular series. But then when I go into the comic book store, I'm like, oh my God, that's a cool cover. I want it.
Me too.
You know, if I don't have it on my pull list, I'm never going to get that cool cover that I just saw. So, I mean, there has to be sort of fix that will allow, like, your store to be able to do that without having all of this, like, backlog.
So one issue, or I guess one thing, is that a lot of times when you guys make when they make the initial orders, when the previews catalog comes out, right, there's not art on a lot of the stuff, right? You see that orange coming soon thing from Disney World.
Well, that's what I was talking about the Joker earlier. I ordered that one cover based on the artist. I never saw the cover.
So we can't. There's final order cutoff, which is most of the major publishers participate, which is 3 weeks before release. and most of the artwork, 90% of the artwork is in. So maybe what we could do is give you guys the ability to go into the system, the portal, and make that final adjustment to your order right before final order cutoff, and we could populate all the art so you could see. You'll see that art now. So that's it's good that we had this conversation, because I'll note that and see if we can address that, because that's I think that's what you're talking about. Like, this wasn't in the previous catalog, but it's here on the shelf. I mean, I assume that's what you're kind of referring to. Like, the art wasn't available at the time. Yeah. So, so we're trying to figure out a way to do it a little bit differently. I mean, that's the goal. And then again, the free shipping is another goal. So we're getting there. So we're converting over from the post office to FedEx, because I get, the business, as we do more volume with FedEx, we get greater discounts.
Makes sense.
That's what we can do.
That's interesting. I mean,
So
outcome for sure.
I mean, it may not work on a lot of business.
No, good. I think it will. I think it will. I mean, good luck, Kevin. I mean, seriously.
Good luck. Hope it works.
Can't wait to see this.
You got to take different swings at things.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with that, especially in the comic book industry, because they've been doing things the same way for so long. So, we've got to address
those
some of this
disruptors.
stuff.
This is great.
Yeah, and I think as long as you make the cover choices and the artists you've been picking, you'll be fine, man, because you've been on fire lately.
Well, we'll definitely still do store variants, but we're missing out on sales because we're not selling regular comics, and the goal is to get you guys to come and buy the store variants plus a regular comic, right? That's the hope, but that's the goal. But do you guys have other questions for me? Is there anything you wanted to ask me? Now's a great time. I'm happy to answer anything.
How about that Thor Peach cover?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that one.
Oh, sure. Like, what do you guys want to know about it?
When's it coming out?
Yep, when's it coming out?
When can I give you my money?
When can I buy that? Ding.
Thor number 6 comes out in August. So August 19th is the release date. So we have to be careful. We got to think about the customers. Like, we've sold a lot of stuff to the group, and over the last couple of weeks, and I think it's good to give everybody a break. So the book physically comes out August 19th. So I take it seriously. Like, if I sell you guys that book, I'm tying up your money for like almost 3 months. Is that right now? 2 months. 2.5 months.
Yeah, I don't think we mind.
We don't have anywhere to spend it. Comic-Con's canceled. Star Celebration.
We have extra money.
Well, I want to be respectful of the customers.
No, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
It's a long time out, so there's that.
So I have another question that kind of leads up to that.
Yeah, sure.
So what's the deal with Golden Apple? Like, I know you announced that you're going to be selling it at this date at this time, but a lot of times we're hearing or we're seeing that Golden Apple is selling it like weeks beforehand. So what's going on with that?
Well,
we can cut it out if you need to.
No. So sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes it's because I work in IT. My full-time job is in IT. And sometimes I get busy and I forget to put stuff up for sale. We've agreed on an on-sale date, and they've got the stuff right. And then I forgot. Mm-hmm. So that's part of it. I'll just be honest. So that's one of it. I think the other thing is they've got some customers that are really big customers of theirs, so they'll allow them to buy early. That's another thing. Mm-hmm. They don't have a Facebook group like I do, so if I do something that's like, if I sell something early, or if I sell it and I don't give the group a heads up, I mean, the group members might come after me with pitchforks and torches. So I have to be really careful. Like, I have to I have to give everybody warning. This this is going to go up for sale on this time, and then everybody has to have a fair shot, or we have to limit it. So, you know.
Then Golden Apple has it like the night before, and you're like, what?
Well, and I don't get upset about that. I just like, yeah, you know, whatever. I mean, and like just so the Dr. Tomorrow book, Golden Apple sold out a few hours early because he and I had kind of a miscommunication about when the sale time was going to go. And he sent his email out and said it was going to be, you know, he went a lot earlier. And he's like, well, you could just sell now. I was like, well, I got to work. Like I had a busy day at work, so I didn't have time to do it. I had to go. And, you know, somebody posted in the group that this was up for sale. And I said, well, buy it from them. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, so I'm not, it doesn't hurt my feelings or anything. But, you know, so it's not always we're in sync. Some things fall through the cracks with everything that I've got going on. So, but the Thor cover, I really like that first appearance of Beta Ray, but I've just always liked that cover for some reason. I don't know why. Something about it I just like. So I've been trying to homage it, and you know, the folks at Golden Apple have been hesitant, and so finally I went for it. So, so that's part of the reason why I like homage covers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I really like that. I don't know. It's
very
so
nice.
Cool. You know, it's like moving and.
I won't lie. I would love to have either that or the Yoda as a poster put on the wall. Both those covers are that sick.
You know. So I think I'm getting a lot of emails. I'm getting a lot of private messages asking when this is going to go up for sale. So people seem to have their wallets out. So I imagine we'll be selling it soon. But I'll give everybody a heads up. But I'm taking the weekend off because I told the group that we would. So
good.
We're going to do a series of giveaways this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I want to give away 3 great books. Kind of try to give something back to the group. And we're gonna it'll end with Venom 7. I don't know if you guys seen the pricing on the Venom 7 Clayton Crane cover we did. What that's going for on eBay now.
I just sent both of mine in to.
Oh my god! It's insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna give. I'm gonna try to give away a 9/8. I gotta go look and see. It's gonna come out of my personal collection. I gotta go find it. So that's why it's going last. So I can go find it this weekend. So we're gonna start with the Deadpool. What if Deadpool Venom book, and then I think the second book is gonna be that David Finch cover with Wonder Woman. So if somebody can look on eBay. I think that's like a $500 book.
The booty book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that cover.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I think I got a 9/8 of that. So that's going to be the second giveaway. And then the Venom 7 will be the third. I may do a fourth. So I have this book. I can't remember the name of it now, but Sylvester Stallone's doing a new movie based on his comic book that's really, really rare. Like they sold they didn't sell that many copies. And he's filming it, they were. I think they probably had stopped filming. So it's actually, this comic book is going to turn into a movie. So there's pictures of him on the set in costume and everything. And he's like an old guy who's got superpowers or had superpowers. So
what's the name of the book?
There's only a handful. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. I'll have to go and look. I'm sorry. I'll have to go look.
No worries.
Yeah, I apologize. I can find out after, and you guys can show a picture of it. But I have some of those in 9/8, so there's very few on the census, very few, and most of them are mine. So,
wow.
So I don't know if it'll heat up, but I want to give a load away too. It's pretty hard, and the books were. And the guy, I had to get them pressed. They were in really bad shape.
Book is called Samaritan.
I want to try to get back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, JR.
That's it.
All right,
no
JR.
problem.
Thank you. So if you look on the census, there's not many of those. So I've got a couple 9/8, so I'm going to give one of those away. So I think we'll do 4 giveaways, and then we'll probably sell Thor next week.
Awesome.
So I had to guess, we'll probably sell Thor next week.
Cool.
Nice.
I gotta back up JR. There's not many Comic Cons happen. There's no Comic Cons happen this year. No cons.
Well,
Nothing really. And
Star Wars Celebration's not canceled yet.
But so we all have a lot of money to kind of spend, so just keep them coming, man,
Well, yeah, so we've got Thor, we've got the TMNT Ronin cover by Peach, which looks pretty cool. I haven't shown the art for that yet because I'm waiting for Nickelodeon to approve the final cover.
Oh, I was looking for that one. I was like, what?
No, we couldn't find it.
Yeah, we haven't shown that one yet.
No Power Rangers.
We've
right?
got Death Metal. No Power Rangers. We've got Death Metal #3 by Peach, which I'm really excited about. We've got Matina on Death Metal #2, Ji-Hung on Batman Adventures 3 with a nice, sexy Batgirl.
Nice.
So, and we have. What else do I have? Oh,
Ray.
so we've got some Vampirella covers coming from Olivia. She's a world famous artist.
Yeah.
She hasn't done
Can't
a
wait to
comic
see
book cover
those.
since the early '90s. Yeah,
I didn't even know she
posted
was
them on
alive.
social media. So, oh yeah, she's working nonstop, and she's an amazing artist. I'm really fortunate to be able to work with her. We hope to do another Snake Eyes cover with Tyler Kirkham.
Nice.
So I like working with Tyler. He's a really good artist. So that's coming. The Clayton Crane Death Metal book. Hopefully that will happen. And so Detective Comics 1027, which is coming out in the fall. We're going to do a cover with Peach for that. I just found out today. So we're going to do a homage to the first appearance of Batman. So we've asked her to put her spin on that, though.
Which book is this?
So,
1027 to
this is Detective Comics 1027.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to allow story variants on that. And so Peach has agreed to do the cover, and we're going to do a homage to the first appearance of Batman on the cover. But it'll be her style. So,
yeah.
So it'll be good.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping. Oh, did you guys see that Mike Mayhew cover? That painting Mike Mayhew did of X-23? That's kind of like the same pose as that Vampire X-23 cover. In
like the same. Yeah.
I have it.
Oh my
no,
god.
but I'll have to find it.
Yep, I'll find it.
Yeah, so you know that Vampire cover? I don't know what the series was. I'm sorry, but he's got that Vampire version of X-23 that goes for pretty good money.
Yeah.
Where she's holding the claws and she's like looking through the claws.
So with closing, Kevin, I want to thank you for being on the show. We definitely learned a lot, and I think our knowledge base has grown, and I think the comic book community's knowledge base has grown too. But I want to ask, man, do you have any last words of wisdom you want to dispense on the comic world?
Yeah, so I think somebody said earlier, buy what you like. I think that's really important. So that way you're always happy with what you have. And have fun. I think that's the other thing. Buy what you like and have fun.